Question number 8, Phil Twyford.
To the Minister of Transport, does he endorse the transport elements of the draft Auckland Plan? And if not, why not?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, it is not appropriate for me to endorse or otherwise any aspect of the draft Auckland Plan at this time. The Auckland Spatial Plan is the Auckland Council's plan, and they will be consulting with the community on it. The government strongly endorses the process, but its role is to provide input, not to formally endorse it. In regards to transport elements, the government will continue to consider individual projects on their merits if the government or its agencies are called on to provide funding assistance. In this context, it's important to remember central government is currently contributing about over $1 billion a year towards Auckland's transport needs.
Phil Twyford.
Supplementary. Can he confirm the Herald's report that he and Ministers Hyde, Smith and Heathley at their August 26 meeting with the Auckland Mayor and Council couldn't stop browbeating the councillors over the draft plan's commitment to urban intensification in a way that was, quote, intimidating and small town, unquote?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Yes, I don't know that we should be picking on small towns, but Mr Speaker, I would point out that was a view of a prominent left-wing politician from Auckland who might have a slight conflict of interest, reported by a prominent left-wing columnist from Auckland who might also have a certain interest in this matter, a certain Mr B. Rudman.
Supplementary.
Phil Twyford.
Does he accept that the alternative to a compact city supported by a modern public transport system is an Auckland that sprawls endlessly and a traffic jam from the Harbour Bridge to Whangarei?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, I don't know that I would want to make too many comments on the Auckland Plan at this point, but I would say that on this side of the House that we believe strongly in people having the right to determine where they live and in the way in which they want to live. We think it's an important principle, provided they, of course, meet the cost of those decisions. And I think that's an important point to make. And I understand that Mr Twyford might have a strong view that everybody should live on top of each other, but others might disagree.
Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. Is the city rail link his number one transport priority for Auckland?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, no, it isn't actually. The current priorities for Auckland are many and varied, and they include the Waterview project, which the government is building currently, the Victoria Tunnel project, the electrification of the rail in Auckland, the Newmarket Viaduct, and a number of other very important investments in Auckland. Currently, the CBD rail link has a benefit cost ratio of about 0.3. And I think we can all say that it needs to probably have an improvement in that before any responsible government would seek to invest in it.
Phil Twyford.
Why did his government go to the trouble of creating a unified Auckland when it's very clear they're determined to undermine and block the Auckland Council's plan for a world-class transport system and a compact city?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, no, the member is simply incorrect. It is an important point for a unified Auckland. I think it's a very important project. And Auckland is currently consulting on its new spatial plan, which is a very important part of the unified Auckland process. And I think it's great that it is doing so and that people are getting the opportunity to comment. I know the members assisting in that matter as well. In fact, I understand he had a public meeting on Monday night where upwards of maybe up even to 8 people turned up to attend the public meeting. And on that current progress, if he was to hold more public meetings, he could possibly cover the whole of Auckland once he's got to 162,500 public meetings to be able to consult on the future of the Auckland Plan.
Supplementary.
Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. What is his advice to government members who have claimed that the City Rail Link is this government's number one transport priority in Auckland?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, my advice to government members would be to attract more people to their public meetings than the 8 that Mr Twyford was able to attract.
Question number 9, Nikki Wagner.